YouTube and welcome to episode 39 of my Doctor Who action figure reviews. In today's review we are looking at the enemies of the first Doctor box set, which came out a few years ago. It's basically the same idea as the enemies of the third Doctor box set, where they chose 3 enemies from that particular era. So in this set we have a Roboman from Dalek Invasion of Earth, a Pyro Flame Dalek from the Dalek's Master Plan, and a 10th Planet Cyberman. Basically 2 of them are re-releases with a couple of tweaks, and one is a new figure in the Doctor Who range, but it is a figure that has been seen before in, well, some parts of it have. So to begin with, I'll take a look at the Roboman. The articulation on the Roboman is as follows. The head can turn, it can actually do a 360, which is quite impressive. The arms can do a 360, the arms can bend, they've got bicep articulation that can do a 360, and the wrists can do a 360 as well. There's 360-degree movement at the torso, it's actually quite easy to do. There's thigh articulation that can do a 360, and the knees can bend as well. There's no ankle articulation, but that's to be expected. So, detail-wise, well, the Roboman is a very, very nice figure. However, it isn't strictly a new figure that's been released. It's not a completely new sculpt. What we basically have here is a modified Scaroth, or Count Scarlione figure, from the City of Death set, which I haven't reviewed yet. But the other thing to mention is the body from the Count Scarlione figure is actually a primeval James Lester figure. So basically this is the James Lester body again, but tweaked once again to make the Roboman. And the reason for this is the shirt, which is now a completely different sculpt. Before I go into detail of the costume, I'll take a look at the sculpt on the head. As you can see, the face sculpt is very, very nice. It doesn't really resemble the Roboman that's shown on the packaging or any particular Roboman. They just seem to have gone with a generic zombified like face. So I'm assuming it's meant to be the one that goes into the lake. It looks very close to that one, but it doesn't look like the one that's on the packaging. So you have the eyes, which are sort of have the eyelids partially down the face over the eyes, so it looks like he's zombified in a zombie-like state, which the Robomen basically are. The eyebrows are painted on very nice. The face detail is actually very good. The eyes are a bit funny there. I can live with that. The head brace is very, very nice. Like the control device that Daleks stick on Robomen to control them is very good. It's accurate to the on-screen head brace. It's made completely in silver. You can see the sculpting of the wires here, the little like mini satellite mini dish here. And all these wires sculpted on here and highlighted with a bit of black paint. The wires should be multiple colours. If you take a look at the colour photos online, the wires are blue, yellow, and various other colours. So they haven't done that, but to be fair, they probably sourced the pictures from they were probably black and white pictures they were looking at. Although colour shots are available, which is where they've got the colour of the costume from. So that's the head sculpt. Very, very nice detail. The costume is pretty much spot on to what the Roboman on screen was wearing. Essentially, while I say that it's spot on, it is of course the Scarlione jacket. But essentially it is a dirty brown jacket with a sort of a dirty wash over it, which is what it was, like a normal dirty brown jacket. It's got the pocket with the handkerchief in from the Scarlione figure, as you can see. You've got pockets sculpted on the side and the buttonholes and the buttons, and it's all very, very nice. The shirt is the dark blue shirt, which is untucked slightly, and there's a few creases in it at the bottom, which are all very, very nice. You can actually see in between the torso and the legs there for some reason, but I can live with that. And you've got creases at the buttons. I like these tiny little details. I like just the tiny crease at the buttons, and the blue buttons are there as well. The trousers are in the same colour as the jacket. with it basically brown with a dirty wash over the top. They are the same as on the Scarlioni figure again, and the shoes are a black paint colour, and then they've been given a muddy wash over the top as well. So that's the detail on the figure. Very, very nice. However, I do have one thing which is a gripe with this figure, which I only noticed when I took another look at it, is that when I turn mine around, and you can clearly see it here, the sculpt of the jacket is stuck underneath the sculpt of the shirt. So what this has done is essentially, the jacket is actually bulged on his back, and I can't think of a way to get this from underneath the shirt, and it's kind of ruined the look of the figure a little bit. I mean, it looks alright because it's from the front. It's just the fact that that's happened is a bit of a cock-up, really. But I can live with that. So that's the Roboman. It's a nice figure. Like I said, it is basically just a re-release. The things that make it obviously the Scarlioni figure is it's got the same ring on the hand. As you can see here, they didn't bother to remove it. They just gave it the same hand that holds the gun and kept the ring on, which is kind of lazy, really. They should have removed the ring just so that it was a normal hand. But that's the Roboman. Very, very nice figure, and I'm glad to have one. Next, I will take a look at the Cyberman from the 10th Planet. So this is the Cybermen as they appeared in their first story, the last story William Hartnell did as the Doctor, the 10th Planet. This is basically a re-release of the 10th Planet Cybermen as it has been released before, but with a couple of small alterations to the figure. Articulation wise, the head can turn. I don't advise doing a 360 because it starts to seize up a little bit. The arms can't do a 180 really. They can go up and down, they can go to the back, but what this does is it lifts the shoulder pads up, and you don't want to damage the tubing on this figure or anything like that. The arms can twist at the bicep, but be careful because you may rub the side of the control unit. The arms can bend, and they have 360-degree articulation at the wrists, and the legs can go forward slightly, but they're hindered by the laser weapon, and the knees can bend, and there's no thigh articulation on this figure, or actually, oh wait, actually there is, yeah, there is also ankle articulation on this figure as well. And of course it's on a T-joint crotch piece, so it can move its legs out to the side, but Cybermen don't do that. So, detail-wise, essentially this is identical to the original 10th Planet Cyberman. You've got the head there, which is very, very nice, with the large bulbous headlamp at the top, the thick handlebars with the transparent section here. The head at the top is got the metal with the lines, these sections sculpted on, which is very, very nice, tiny detail, and then the thick piece of silver there. The cloth that went over the face of the actors is also sculpted on very, very nice. It's got creases on, which I think makes these Cybermen very, very creepy. And this is done in like a skin type colour. This is darker than the skin type colour on the original. And I think it does help it a little bit. It gives it a bit more of a... it actually makes it look a lot more scary, as these Cybermen are actually really creepy to look at. The eyes have got these silver rings around them, and they are completely black on the inside, and the lips are just like slits as they were on the actual masks. I'm glad they didn't go with a rounded mouth like they do in the story, because that is quite bizarre. The shoulder pads are completely silver, with the tubing going down here to the front of the chest unit, and then there's two on the sides. Oh, excuse me, I've just realised I haven't zoomed out. The tubing goes from the shoulders to the chest unit here, and the two up there. The suit is actually sculpted rather nicely before I move on to the control unit. It's got lots of different creases in it. I don't know what kind of suits these were, but there's lots and lots of detail into it. It's fantastic. There's loads of creases on the back, a lot more than on other Cyber models, and loads of creases on the trousers as well here. And they've got these dark black lines going all down the suit as they were in the story, and then like these little round cufflinks here at the end with the little extra section here. The hands are actually humanoid hands. They are a dark skin colour. This is how they were in the story. These Cybermen actually had hands, which makes them more human than most Cybermen, and it's another creepy factor to these Cybermen. The legs are very, very nice. They've also got the lines as well, and you've got this this section here before you get to the moon boots, which are completely silver as well. And I like the little details around the edging of the boot. If I just zoom in there, the little detail of the grips, that's very, very nice. So the chest unit is spot on to the episode. It's a very thick chest unit as it's actually attached to the suit. You've got the transparent plastic here with the little knobbly bits on the inside, the grating in the center. You have this little black button here and this silver piece as well. Sculpted very, very closely to how it is in the story. And of course you have the laser gun at the bottom. Now unfortunately this isn't removable, which I think is where this figure is slightly let down, as they've missed a trick here. Because the Cybermen in the story can remove the camera, because it looks like a camera, and fire it holding it in their hands, which is hence why he's positioned like that. But this has been sculpted to the actual chest unit, so it can't move. But this is very, very nice. It's just like thick metal bars, and then the the pattern of the glass has been sculpted on in a slightly transparent plastic inside, and like a light bulb effect in the done on the inside, and it looks very, very nice. Would have been cool if there was like a little feature to, like just a little button to light it up, but they did that with Sutek, and this was released very early on, so they weren't going to do that. So it's a shame that this isn't removable, but it's a very, very nice figure. It's a very nice Cyberman. It's a very creepy Cyberman, but the detail on it is just excellent. And since I don't have any other 10th Planet Cyberman, I am very glad to see this in this set. So the final figure to look at for this set is, of course, the Pyro Flame Dalek from the Dalek's Master Plan. Now, the Dalek articulation is identical on all Dalek figures. It never really changes much. You've got 360-degree motion in the head. The eye can go up and down, but the eye stalk is no longer removable. The arm, well, usually it's a plunger, but the flamethrower is on a ball joint, and the gun is also on a ball joint as well. It's on 3 wheels, so it can go forward and backward and turn, obviously. And that's basically it for the articulation on a Dalek, but what do you expect? So, the detail-wise, basically this is a 60s era Dalek. It's done in the metallic silver and pale blue colour scheme, which is a very nice colour scheme, which is, interestingly, the Strategist Paradigm Dalek has this colour scheme but reversed. I've always liked this model of Dalek. It's a very, very cool model, but of course my favourites are the Imperials. You've got the orange Mini Cooper dome lights. These are no longer just transparent. They've actually added an orange tinge to them. I don't believe that's correct. For this, I'm not quite sure. What I believe they're just meant to be plain. So I do think the orange is wrong. I think that came later. But it does give it a bit of variation, but it's not correct, as this didn't happen in the story. The eye stalk has 10 discs, and they are done in the pale turquoise blue colour. As you can see, they're all very close together and at the end of the eye stalk. And then you've got the silver bit here. The eye is not just round, it is sort of shaped differently and ends in a clear white iris with no pupil. The grating is essentially the same, and the little sections here, the head on the head are the same, they're just painted in the metallic silver. Same mesh armour on this Dalek. This is the first time. Actually, does the chase come first on the Dalek's Master Plan? I can't remember. But from the chase onwards, the Daleks started having the mesh on their bodies rather than just the 2 solar panels on the body. So the mesh is very nice, completely in silver. There's no highlighted mesh in the middle between the slats, but it does look very, very nice. The midsection is painted in the dark grey as well, the military grey. And the skirt and the lower section are very, very nice as well. It's completely metallic silver with the pale turquoise blue hemispheres at the bottom all around. These two seem quite loose on for some reason, and it's obvious on camera compared to the rest, but it does look very, very nice. And the thinner fender at the bottom, it's not the double one, it's the thinner one that made these Daleks shorter that they had in the 60s, and that's just a completely matte black finish at the bottom. And what's also different is the gun. All 60s Daleks have this gun, but other standard Daleks don't. This is basically the same kind of sculpt, but with the discs inserted into the sculpt for the inside, as these Daleks did have that, and the tip of the gun is also slightly different as well. So that's very, very nice. And the final thing, which is not a plunger, it's the people call it a flamethrower, but in Dalek's master plan they call it the pyro flame. When they go to burn down the forest, they say operate pyro flames. This is just a long silver tube like it is in the for the plunger. It starts like that, but then you've got this thick cylindrical shape here, and it of course ends with a slightly transparent fire sculpt, which is sculpted very, very nicely. It's similar to the early Dalek staple set, as there was a flamethrower Dalek with that. It's a similar sculpt to that. And the flame is actually very, very nice. It's lighter at the end, and then it gets redder as you go closer to the bit that discharges it. And this is sculpted very, very nicely, this flame, and it does make this Dalek very, very cool to pose. Unlike the Daypole set, you can actually keep the flamethrower held aloft because of the joint being stronger. So it doesn't have to be straight like that. It can be more like it is in the story, where they've got the fire up like that. And as another nifty little feature, if you don't want to display this Dalek with fire, but why would you? I don't know. You can easily just pull it out like that and have the pyro flame attachment without the fire, which is just hexagonal, as you can see, and there's no detail on the inside. And you can have a closer look at the flame. And there's a little bit at the end, and it's all completely transparent, and it's all very, very nice. So this Dalek's very nice. I'm actually growing more fond of the 60s Daleks as time goes by. So it's very nice to have this as another little addition to the line of Daleks. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the review. Final thoughts. This is a very, very nice set. Roboman's very, very nice figure. We've never had a Roboman before. Reuses other parts, like I said, and of course there's that little issue, but it's still a very good figure. The Cyberman is a very, very nice release. I like this Cyberman. Of course it's been released before, so people may have been disappointed that it was released again instead of a newer monster, as we only get Daleks and Cybermen and Mechanoids for the 60s for some reason. And of course there's a couple of tweaks to it, so at least it's a little bit different to other releases. And the Dalek, pretty standard Dalek, but of course they changed the headlamps, they changed the plunger to something more exciting, so it's at least another variant of Dalek from the 60s. That's interesting. It would have been nice if it also came with if you could remove this and it had the Perceptor as well. That would have been good. Give it a couple of plunger accessories, so to speak. That would have been nice, but now I'm getting off topic. So final thoughts, if you can find this set, definitely get it. It's exclusive to Forbidden Planet like the Enemies of the Third Doctor set. It's not £45, however. I think it's either £35 to £40. You can get this online on Amazon. Of course it may be a bit more expensive on there. And if you'd like to know more information about these figures, please check out Batman March's blog or his own review of this set. And that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching this review, guys. And the next review I shall be doing for Doctor Who will be a 4th Doctor review. It shall either be the Seeds of Doom set, or it will be Morbius from Wave 2, as I have not reviewed Morbius yet. And the next review, which, in case you haven't noticed how excited I am, the next review I'm going to be filming immediately after this one is my first Godzilla review, in which we will be taking a look at the 90s Godzilla figure released by Bandai. So, thank you for watching this review, guys, and I shall see you in my next Doctor Who action figure review.